La Resistance, as even those plebs without the season pass will be included in the Resistance event that starts on January 23rd, runs through February 27th, and more on the Call of Duty news of the week. A trailer dropped on the official Call of Duty YouTube channel, and again we're stuck with the chav schmuck from the first event instead of the woman quartermaster, which should make thirsty teens disappointed. The event will be similar to the Winter Siege one, where there will be event-specific supply drops with new bippity-bops to play dress-up with in an FPS, which will hopefully actually be given out to PC players this time, because apparently even though you could put Twitch rewards in the mailbox, you can't do the same with Ineptitude. There will also be double XP playlists, new weapons, which I'll touch on later, new game modes, and a brand new Resistance division. That's right, a new division that is free to everyone, sure to bring PTSD-esque Modern Warfare 2 Tac Knife Marathon Lightweight Commando Pro flashbacks, as there wasn't a Vietnam War yet in this timeline to have those types of mindfucks. Can't you tell how thrilled I am that there's going to be tons of douche canoes running around with one-hit melee in a shooter game, like this one sitting in a corner waiting for someone who's actually rushing by him? Speaking of MW2, the second division will unlock a Scrambler, which will jam nearby enemy minimaps, unlike the actual counter UAV score streak does, and more on buffing those later. The third is an extra pistol attachment, since apparently a two-shot kill secondary isn't nearly powerful enough, and the fourth unlock is a minimap indicator of nearby enemies like Six Sense and Black Ops 3, because flanking is too goddamn easy with the shitty map design in this game. There will also be new weapons that will be granted in similar fashion to those from the Winter Siege event, whereby you complete contracts to earn them, but I'm also guessing that this means the weapons from the prior event will be phased out starting on January 23rd, so time to grind if you haven't already. Meanwhile, there are 4 new weapons, and all of which were data mined when the game just came out, since, you know, locking content away for future considerations to make yourselves look like you're actually doing the community a favor only works if you like to have the Wizard of Oz curtain drawn in naivete. The Volkssturmgewehr rifle, which is yet another fully auto rifle because semi-autos are hard to balance, M1 Garand, and difficult to make the shots land where you're actually aiming, SVT-40. It's a variation of the STG-44, but looks like a frankenfuck of a weapon, even though the rest of the guns in the game also seem to have been put together from assets of different weapons, since the historical accuracy is that of the movie I, Tonya. The Orso SMG, which apparently they named after bear in Italian because Activision is spelled with a $sign and didn't want to throw down on the gun naming rights to the Beretta 38 as it was in the data mine files, seems to shoot loads faster than your masturbation session. There is also the yet to be named in this trailer, but it's actually the Walther P38 pistol in game files, and the combat knife for those that like to flail around wildly instead of pointing a gun and having to aim. Considering that they're taking multiple pages out of Modern Warfare 2, a game mode that was introduced in that game, Demolition, will be returning along with a sneak peek of what looks to be the prop hunt game mode, which they smartly put in before all the marketing bullshit that makes everyone click off the video. And in order to do that type of minimal effort content that everybody loves, Winter Carrington will again be moved into the regular map rotation during this event because it's the only map that has near universal acclaim in this game, despite the fact that there's only 9 maps in total for multiplayer, and this map wasn't even created for this game, it's just skinned to look like snow fell on the ground. There is also a hotfix released on Thursday which can do game-changing things like weapon balancing, but annoyances like, a bomb has been planted on our ammo supply, and B is retreating, keep firing, necessitate an actual patch, so go figure that one out. The ADS time for the KAR was nerfed, but buffed on the Lee Enfield, so that's sure to make quickscopers more confused than they already are regarding their sexuality. Buffs were given to the FG-42 to make it not be the bastard child of the auto rifles, much to the crying of pro players everywhere. Same with the grease gun and the SMGs, and the sawed-off shotty, which was like blowing your nose on the enemy before. Meanwhile, the combat shotgun was actually nerfed, thus making shotguns still worse than stabbing yourself repeatedly in the dick with a pencil to use. It's a surprise that no nerf was handed to the M1 Garand despite pro players' complaints, but they were given some love with the S&D spawn changes on St. Marie du Mont and CTF flag spots on London docks. Speaking of game modes, there will also be a Domination XL playlist to test the 100 point per kill domination setting that players have been asking for since launch, and hopefully feedback won't be based on some survey that asked the vaguest question ever, such that intricate details can't be discerned from the answers. Also in the coming soon arena is an increase to health regen time, so the game won't play as passive as a post-it note on a coworker's door, or altering your SSID on your router in your apartment complex to air dirty laundry about your neighbors, as well as some tweaks to make score streaks not as weak as the NHL's Atlantic Division after the first 3 teams. What's not changing, much to the chagrin of rushers everywhere, is the ADS timeout of Sprint, which runs contrary to the design of the game, going back to its roots and being more tactical, which Condry stated on Reddit. Oh, and by the way, you couldn't even sprint in the first Call of Duty games before all the Gamma Lab snorting ADHD generation started playing. Yet, this design philosophy completely falls apart when you consider that the map design caters to SMG play, which by its definition is rush heavy, along with continuing to nerf rifles while only buffing SMGs. Since it's easier to camp than to rush, along with this mixed messaging of how Sledgehammer Games wants the game to be played with their core design philosophy, only one can assume that this means you'll get a lot more Rage videos like the one that came out yesterday. Lastly, in the Call of Duty news is the report that Eric Hirschberg is out as Activision CEO, which means we won't have to hear catchphrases like most passionate fan base in the world or adrenaline pumping action ever again, but I won't miss the cringe humor though.
My name is Eric Hirschberg. Hirschberg is a German name. So I'm able to say that I've spoken German my entire life. The problem is it's just that one word. I noticed on the translation that they referred to Jürgen Roters as Lord Mayor in my translation. So I'm requesting now that in the translation to German, they refer to me as Lord CEO. I think it's only fair, although I don't know how Bobby's going to feel about that.
Well, this is the long-term effect of milking your loyal fan bases dry after putting out 5 subpar Call of Duty games in a row in terms of the general consensus. I actually like 2 of them, though. And fucking their $500 million new IP sequel almost as bad as EA's sequel fuckery with Star Wars Battlefront. It won't matter to us consumers, though. They'll just trot out another shit-eating, grin-looking schmuck whose speeches we'll have to read between the lines to decipher what's bullshit and what's actually for real. What do you guys think? I've been the Schwantz27 out like Kevin Shattenkirk's knee. Until next time.